Hey, welcome back to another episode of Fly Tying Friday. I'm John Morris. I'm here on behalf of Working Class Fishing and Morrisflyco. And today, we didn't get any more recommendations for fly patterns, so I'm doing what I said I was going to do, and we're doing the pheasant rump baitfish streamer. Okay. Um, you're going to need pheasant rump and pheasant. You can get pheasant skins, entire skins, for um, a relatively good price. I'm tying on a size 6, a ARX 718 barbless competition, size 6. You're going to need some dumbbell eyes, which I've got mediums right here. And that's just about it. We're going to do a flash brush, actually a ripple ice fiber brush with peacock for the body, and we'll get there. You can also sub things if you're not good at dubbing brushes or you're not confident with them yet. You'll get there, but you can also use sculpin brushes, this is some stuff that I got when I first started out. These work really well also, pretty handy. They're just pre-made brushes. But we're going to be using a ripple ice fiber for the underbody today to add some flash. And you're going to want some kind of silly leg. These are from Flirt Skirt Fishing. They sell jig skirts for bass jigs. Really good price on them. I use them for streamers. I use them for terrestrials. Anything you add legs on, that's what I do. And I guess let's get started. All right, we're gonna try a new angle today, like this. Okay, so you can see my hook, you can see my thread. Hopefully you can see the fly. So we're gonna dress our hook back like normal. I'm actually gonna just put this Vivus 8/0 wine on here, and we're going back. I need more attention, more attention. Cranking my bobbin over here. All right, coming back to where the point, just past the point, you can see that this time. Come over here, you can see that. We're coming right here to where the barb would be on the point. These fluffy marabou feathers, these kind of under feathers, that's rump, okay? So we're gonna grab one of the above, which is this iridescent kind of bronzish orange. I would almost say it's a furnace style color. And then I'm gonna grab one of your, actually we're gonna grab two of these under rump feathers. One, and I like this one right here. Two. All right, I'm gonna set my pheasant aside right now. So I'm gonna do one on my side. I'm doing a shank length. Three wraps, secure. I'm gonna do one on your side. And I'm pair it up with this other one. One over these stems, hold up. One. See how that stem's spinning? Make sure you're pinching on the rear back here and you're holding that marabou still. Where that tailing material still, it's not really marabou. I'm snipping about halfway up the shank and I'm just going to secure all that down. I'm still pinching in the rear and I'm coming right back over it. Okay, so that actually twisted pretty heavily on me, which is when that hackle stem spun like that earlier, that's what that was doing. So rolling all that back around, I'm pulling towards me to add a lot of tension, wrapping over, pulling down, pulling towards me, and I'm just really securing all this down, making sure that's all really tight. Now it can't spin and everything's adjusted. Now I'm going to take that furnace kind of feather that I was talking about, and I'm just going to put it right over the top like this, like you would do with mallard flank on drunken disorderlies. 1, 2 securing wraps, and I'm going to wrap this up the shank. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to put my dumbbell eyes on. Typically I do my dumbbell eyes first, but I forgot, so I'm going to do it now. You have to leave enough room in front of your eyes on this fly. Another thing on this fly is the dumbbell eyes are not going up top. This isn't like a clouser, they're going underneath, so I'm going to flip my hook over. You see this big gap? Hold on a second, let me get these eyes lashed down. I'm doing over one side, and you see how they're cockeyed right now, like that? Well, I'm going to do these other wraps, and it's going to start pulling them back centered. We'll finish securing these like we did on the clouser video here in just a second, but what I'm showing you here is you need this gap behind the hook eye. That's really blurry. Let me pull this up. You need that gap. If you don't have that gap, you're not going to be able to finish this fly out how you want, and it's not, the head's going to fall a little short of where it needs to be. So we're just doing crossing wraps or X wraps, right to left, left to right. When you think you've got enough like that, come around just one side of the eye, on the other side of the hook, and going on the other side of the eye. Get my wraps going the correct direction. And then I'm going to do, people call them helicopter. And what that's doing is all those wraps before, it's pinching all those together. And I'm going to add a little bit behind, a couple more cross wraps. In front, come right down to the eye, come back again. Still spinning just a hair. Which I can just throw Zap a Gap, or what I'm going to do is put Sally Hansen Hard as Nails on this. It shouldn't take this many wraps, but I kind of jacked this up. But you'll get to where you can do it. That's good. That's nice and tight. You don't want your eyes to spin on you, because they'll end up. I'm coating all of that. And I'm coating all of that. By the time we get back over there, that's going to be all soaked in. Let me turn this brightness up a hair. Woo! Okay, so now we've got our eyes secure. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more cross wraps and pinch this, and then I'm coming back to the top. Bring it back down. Alright, so now this is what we're looking like now. We have this feather directly over the top of this tailing material. Now we need to make our brush. Like I said, we're using Peacock Ripple Ice Fiber from Hairline Dubbing. This stuff's actually pretty long. We're going to use 2 pinches like this, and we're going to see if we can get enough from Sally Hansen's on my fingers. Okay. They don't have to be perfect, but what we're going to do is we're going to snip this in the middle. And we're going to stack. If you've got material clips, I've got one right here. I'm just going to hold that together. You don't need a material clip, but it's kind of handy. There's Valentine. Alright, so we're going to create a dubbing loop. I'm pulling the thread towards me, 2 fingers down on the thread, over that same part, coming over my hand, 1, 2 times, pulling to the rear. I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to come over it just one more time. What that's doing is that's securing that loop down and it's closing it up. And then you put that bad boy in your material clip on your vise if you've got one. If not, not a big deal. Just keeping that loop open is pretty important for later. There's my whirler. My desk is actually clean. I put it under my pheasant tail. Alright, and then I'm going to put my whirler in my loop. Okay. A little unorganized today. Just got off work. I'm not feeling the best. Alright. Taking that edge of this loop, that triangle that I made by putting in my clip over here, taking that off, and then I'm putting this material in that loop with the material clip. I'm pulling straight out like this towards me. I'm going to move these fibers up a hair, keeping tension towards me with my finger on it like this, and then I'm going to spin my whirler. And as you can see, it spins the loop. Oh my goodness. Valentine just stole my feathers. She's already got mine. Okay. Okay, so now, got a couple options here. I got the loop in my hand. My bobbin rest should be up a little bit. I'm just not going to fool with it. I should have had it ready beforehand. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to stroke all these fibers to the back. Up and to the rear. Up to the rear. You're going to do that all the way up on this body. I'm going to secure it up here, right behind the eye. Alright. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. I want a nice clean thread base up here for all that. Alright, so this is where we're at now. Now we're going to take one of these larger pheasant feathers, or any feather you want, or no feather, it doesn't really matter. I'm just showing you how I tie them. Taking one of these larger pheasant feathers. I'm stripping these fuzzies off the bottom. I'm saving this marabou off this feather. We will need it later. I'm grabbing my tip, stroking these back. And we're going to hackle right here. 1, 2, 3, right by that loop we just put on here. We got one fuzzy, gotta pull that out. Alright, same thing. We're pulling all these fibers back. I just broke that off. And tying a little bit further up the stem now. Happens. Alright, try it again. We're stroking them back. And then we're going to palmer. Come up, pull them back, do your loops, up, back, do your loops. And we're just going to keep doing that. And we're going to catch it. I'm going to stroke all these back, and then I've got a few fibers up here that I'm just going to get rid of. And clean up these stems. Alright, so this is where we're at now. Alright, we're about to start our head, but there's one more step before we get to the head. And that is legs. I've got 2 brown, 2 olive. I want them to be just a little bit longer than the tail. I'm putting 2 together on my side. I'm just going to wrap over 2 loose wraps. Just kind of get them there, kind of get them situated. I've got brown on top, olive on bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. 1, 2 wraps. I'm just kind of situating all this, getting where I want them, because I want them to be on the lateral side of it. I'm pulling everything back. I'm giving it 2 wraps to hold it back. This is another time, if you've got a material clip, and dude, these are just like little metal chip clips. You don't have to get fancy stuff, okay? These are, I got like 10 for $4 or something like that. I'm just holding all that stuff back so I can focus on this head and not worry about wrapping any of this other stuff up. Okay, we need Marabou, or soft fuzzy little fibers here. Alright, these bluish hued rump, I'm going to put 1 more over the top. I'm just going to take this clip off. I'll just deal with it. And that's going to veil those over the top like that. All we're doing is we're adding a lot of different contrast and colors and whatnot. Showing some of these little fuzzies. And then I'm going to take some of these really fuzzy feathers here, like this. And then we're going to make another loop. I'm going to trim all these down here on the desk. All the fuzzes. You can also just wrap these in. Like, you don't have to do all this loop work. I like doing the loop work. And we are going to use 1 more rump piece for a little bit of a collar. Alright. Making another loop. Bringing my thread in front of the eye for right now. Putting it in this spring in the back to form this triangle right here under my hand. My whirler is going in. Cleaning up these scraps. Throwing them in the trash. Okay. If you've got wax, this is the time to use it. If you don't have wax, don't worry about it. We're just kind of putting it in all willy-nilly. That looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna spin it up. And this is what I'm going to do instead of adding that last little piece of rump feather. Alright, so I did 2 wraps behind the eyes. I did 1 over the eye, and then we're going to do 1 more stack of material in front of the eye, so 1 more loop. I secured the loop in front of my eye. Just cleaning all that up. And then 1 more loop. And we'll be good to go. This is some turkey feather here. Some actual turkey marabou I'm going to use just because it's on my desk. It's the same thing. Do not, don't fret. Don't be like, I don't have turkey marabou. Don't worry about it. It's not that important. Off the clip, whirl her in. This one, I'm trying to stack these a little more dense towards one section. So I'm literally just taking that pinch and putting it in the loop. Because I want it to be thick, but if it's too thick, it's not going to hold. So I am going to spread that out just a hair. You can pull out everything. Stay. A couple more turns. Let it finish off here. I'm stroking all these back as I go. It's a little too long for my locking, so I'm actually going to trim that up here in a second. Alright, so I grabbed the end of that loop when I came around, and I caught it with my thread. And I'm going to catch that loop again right here on the tip of the nose. I'm backing this thread off because I just accidentally covered my eye, going back a little, because you want to keep your eye open. Alright, we're butted right up to the nose. Gonna whip it, and then I'm gonna hit it with head cement. 2, 3, 4. Try not to whip as far back as I did here. You can't really see that. Try not to whip as far back as I did right there. It's a little bit farther than I'd like. Just a little bit. It's not bad. It's just not exactly what I like. And that's 3 turns, making sure it's seated. Just trim this head up just a little bit. These right here in front of the eye. That is a pheasant bug. That is a pheasant rump streamer. That's how I do it. That's how I like doing it. It's pretty sick. It's super good. The action's really good too. What I'm doing right here is I'm taking my bodkin, because I got some marabou trapped in this eye. I'm just pulling it out of my eye, which is also why I checked to make sure that my whip finish was seated correctly, because if it's not, one of the reasons could be is because I trap material. Now, you can literally just palmer, I don't like this fiber right here. You can literally just palmer fuzzy feathers like forward, but once you get to that stem, you're going to start running into issues. So, like I said, I'm going to hit this with some Sally Hansen. Sorry this video is not how it normally is. Like I said, I just got off work. There's a drop on top. I'm gonna dab that into the thread. Drop on bottom and dab it in. Then another drop on top, and I will not dab that one in. A little sick. Just got off work. Pretty tired. But I hope you enjoyed it because I didn't want to leave you guys without a fly tying Friday. I've been tying the absolute crap out of these flies lately, and I just wanted you guys to see how I've been doing it. This is what I ended up liking just about the best. On bigger hooks, I've done so much marabou that I've actually made it look like an entire baitfish. And then maybe next week we'll go over a sex dungeon, a nice big articulated streamer, Kelly Gallops. But until then, John Morrisflyco, one of the hosts of Working Class Fishing. I hope you're able to follow this. If not, sorry, I'll do it again. But until then, y'all take care and eat your vegetables. See ya.